What is up, guys? So it is probably a little while later from the sway bar install. This is actually past New Year, so I think today's the 4th or the 5th. I don't really know. I don't have my watch on me, but one cool thing arrived today, and that is the new Swift springs. So I already went ahead and unboxed them because I'm childish and I just wanted to see them, but these things are awesome. So as I explained in a previous video, I'm actually going softer in the front and increasingly heavier in the front. So yeah, that's a 12K spring. I don't know how well the shock is gonna control that 12K because I think I'm like just a little bit past its operating range, because I think I have 8Ks in the rear. So yeah, but I'm gonna go ahead and just try it out, see how it feels. Hopefully it feels good. I already have the car jacked up. These aren't very hard to replace. So I don't know if you can see the guy. Oh, there it is. So it's just one big old bolt on the bottom, and of course one nut up top, and it should just slide right out. I'm gonna go ahead, get them out of there, and get them out here and see just how difficult it is to do a spring swap on this car. And yeah, so let's get to it. Okay, so I was actually trying to, you probably saw I was trying to take them out without taking the wheels off. You can get away with it, I think, with a solid axle, because I remember taking mine out when I had my solid axle. But I guess just not with the IRS. It's been a while, so these have actually been in my car for, I want to say, going on about 3 years. So they're behind a 331 stroker. Then of course my first Coyote, and then of course this, same Coyote but built. So here are the coilovers, and to do a spring swap, it's, well, I mean, it's as easy as just putting on a spring on a stick, just shish kebabbing it. So first you got to take out, I guess you could call this like an alignment pin. So like, and then the top hat comes right off, and just go ahead and slide your spring right out. Make sure you keep this guy on there. May have to put a zip tie on there just to kind of help them stay on there so it doesn't come up and no dirt gets in there, because you can see like just how nice and clean that is right there. So this has been doing its job fairly well. And then also just in the difference in the paint right there. I should have probably put a little bit more anti-seize on these. It looks like it's pretty much gone. So, but I mean, I have driven these all the way to Idaho, so I've made a 1,000-mile road trip to Idaho and back, so that's 2,000 miles straight of just continuous beating on them. Lots of LA trips, hour-long drives, going to the mountains, all that good stuff on those, and I've had no issues. So go over here, grab our new spring. So here you can see the difference. Ooh, so I'm starting to notice that these 12Ks are just a smidge shorter. So I don't know if maybe I got sent the wrong ones or what, but yeah. So I did go ahead and call Feal before this, and they told me that these were the correct springs. So maybe just because they're the 12Ks, they're a little bit shorter. But yeah, looks like we're gonna be having a little bit less travel on the shock, about an inch. So I'm gonna have to make sure I adjust these up some, that way my ride height stays the same and all the other suspension settings don't change whatsoever. So I was really hoping not to have to adjust anything, but I guess I will have to. So I guess we can just go for it. And then of course these were 8Ks, and now we're up to the 12s. The car just squats way too hard when I get on the gas, so it just needs something a lot stiffer. And then this is what was recommended to me by Jack Hidley. So yeah, let's do it. Cool, and there you have one. So what I ended up using was a little bit of grease, just to kind of grease them. So what I did was I put a little bit on there, rubbed it around with my fingers in a towel, and then what I did was I took the collar and ran it all the way down and all the way up. Essentially what it's doing is kind of squeezing out all the excess, and then you just wipe off the excess. I didn't go all the way to the top, just mainly because I don't ever plan on having my collar all the way up there. If I need to go up, if I need to put more preload on the spring, then I'll just get a bigger spring. And I mean, some of you are probably asking what's preload. Isn't that the height adjuster? Well, the height adjuster is actually down here. So this bottom part is actually threaded in also, and you can see it has its own collar. So this is where you adjust height, and this is where you adjust your preload. So it's essentially just how much you squeeze the spring initially. Because if you move this down, then you're going to have less shock travel. So you want the most shock travel, but you don't want to be bottoming it out in one direction or in the opposite direction. So I tried to match it as perfectly as I could to how feal sent them to me. So hopefully the preload will be fine and won't be anything crazy. If not, then I'll just have to study up some more and do some more fine tuning on them. But there's one. I'm gonna go ahead and do this other one, and you can see just how much better the one I did looks as this one. Just these threads, they're just all dried out. So I think I did have a little bit of grease on them, but 3 years, I drive this car in the rain. I've driven it in the snow, so it all kind of just wears away. So that's kind of just a maintenance item you got to keep up with. On this one, I think you can kind of see it right there. Yeah, like right there, the threads were actually exposed. I think that's just where the collar had been. So it kind of chewed away at the powder coating on the threads, and it started to rust. So I made sure to put some more grease on there and hopefully keep any corrosion away from my threads. So keep it adjustable later on. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the same thing for this one, for the driver's side, and get these things slot back in and see how the car sits afterwards. I'm actually gonna go ahead and drive it with just the rears first, and then I'm gonna see if I can notice any kind of a difference, like handling wise. And then what I'm gonna do next is do the fronts. So I'm doing every mod like one step at a time. So first I put the sway bar on, I drove the car a little bit, and I actually noticed the difference there, like what the handling characteristics were. Then I'm gonna do the rear springs, and I'm gonna notice how different the car feels, and then I'm gonna do the front springs, and hopefully I can drive the car enough where I can at least learn what the differences are as fast as I can, and move on to the next step and get this car. That way I can kind of step by step my way up to the final product. You don't want to do all the changes at once because you don't know what each change does, if you know what I mean. So yeah, let me button all this up and quit rambling. So I'll see you guys once it's done. So the spring swap is done. One thing I do have to do is measure the ride height because it might need a little bit of tweaking. So before my cart set, oh wow. Okay, so ride height is gonna have to be severely adjusted. Wow, I don't even think I had to even adjust the preload. Holy crap. Yeah, my car is sitting roughly 1.5 inches higher than it did before. So I understand that springs do have to settle, but it's just wild. That's how much compression there was on the old springs compared to the new ones, because I did raise I guess like the spring preload up a whole inch, because it's a whole inch shorter than my old springs, and the car's sitting 1.5 inches higher. So that means that these springs had at least 1.5 inches worth of compression when the car was just sitting static. So who knows just how much like those springs were actually being compressed once I actually did put weight on the car. No wonder the car just felt like it was essentially like a drag car. I just wanted to squat and go. And I think that's also why it gave me weird driving characteristics when I would go into corners. So that is actually really awesome to know. So, but it's kind of shitty because I thought I was gonna be done, but I guess I'm not. So now I gotta go ahead and loosen up the bottom part and adjust that adjuster up 1.5 inches to drop the car. I'll probably do about 1 inch, leave the car 1/2 inch higher, as the springs still need to be broken in. So probably roughly after a week, the car will sit lower. So I believe just leaving it like 1/2 inch off, hopefully that does not mess with my toe very much. I'll probably double check it with the toe plates that I'm probably gonna go return to my buddy today. But yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and try that out, see how that comes out. Okay, so I got the car running, I'm warming it up. I got the suspension fixed. Now that it's sitting at a more respectable height, back closer to where it was. This side's just a hair lower than I would like it to be, and then that side's a hair higher than I would like it to be. But I'm gonna see how it goes. I'm gonna give it a little bit of time. I mean, these tires are gonna get swapped anyways, mainly because this one currently has a nail in it. But so if it chews up my tires, it's not that big of an issue with me. I got a fresh set to go on the car. But I'm gonna go test it out, see how the car reacts now, how it reacts when braking, when accelerating, when turning, and just see if there's any real noticeable differences. Hopefully that nail does not ruin like any of the air in the tire, but I'm probably gonna carry my little jump pack that can fill up my tires in case if I get stuck on the side of the road. I can at least limp it home. But yeah, let's go for a ride and see how it goes. grip under power. Oh, that feels really good. But all right, I'll catch you guys later on the next one. Peace out.